Y'all know 5/20 is Cannabis Freedom Day, and the last prison project. This is the lady here. Introduce yourself and tell them what you stand for and what you're about, and what's the whole last prison project is about.
I'd be honored to.
Yeah.
So my name is Mary Bailey. I'm the managing director of Last Prisoner Project. We are a criminal justice reform nonprofit,
Yes.
absolutely dedicated to releasing cannabis prisoners and helping them rebuild their lives once they're out. We are super passionate about helping people regain their much deserved freedom.
Yes.
I feel really strongly that anybody who is currently in prison for cannabis or has been in prison, that they are the pioneers of this booming industry,
Yes.
and that we should all feel a moral imperative to help them. They have been incarcerated over a plant medicine that is beneficial to society. They do not belong caged in a cell. It's just wrong.
And why do you think that most of these prisoners that are incarcerated for cannabis is mostly African American?
It's horrendous. People of color are 4 times as likely to be arrested for cannabis in America.
Wow. And it's like the injustice is all around us. And that's what we fight for, and that's what we advocate for. And people don't realize there's a lot of pressure on African American males just to survive and maintain a freedom of life. When you look at the injustice, when we grow up in poverty, it's all around us. Like I was talking to Dante, and we talked about, like, when you walk out your door. When I walk out my door, I see the streets growing up as a young man, and the first thing you think you want to be like the guy with the fixed up car, but you don't really know. But the system look at everybody. You could be a guy that's just playing sports or something. You still gonna be labeled and tagged as a criminal, a drug dealer, a killer, or whatever, just by the way you look. And the sad thing about what I look at when I look at the criminal justice system is more African American males, and I look at, like, we come from slavery. We come from saying we are free now, we in America, but at the same time, I feel like you're looking at a lot of free labor. You're looking at a lot of prisons that use African American men as workers, and that's the negativity we have to change. That stereotype that you automatically guilty because you black, and if you guilty because you got a sack, like we talk about Fate Winslow in Louisiana, this man been incarcerated with a life sentence for a $20 bag, which people in California, they could go get on a plane and have
Plenty
to take back. You know, so it's like, that makes no sense.
I agree, and it's not just that black men or black folks are more likely to get arrested. They're also more likely to get heavier sentences than people of other races, and that part is just such a travesty.
Yeah, because I know some white guys I know, they like, I had a marijuana case, but they threw it out. I'm like, they threw it out.
Yeah, it's not, it's far from fair, and it's something that we all have to work towards changing.
Yes.
And Fate Winslow's story is really very dear to my heart. You know, he was such a bright light.
Yeah.
I met Fate when he was still incarcerated before he got resentenced. Yeah. And I loved my conversations with him. He was always super positive, very upbeat. No matter what he'd gone through, he's still shown his light out into the world, and I so respect that. Yeah. And then as we were already friends, he found out that he had a new attorney through the Innocence Project of New Orleans. They're an amazing group of people. They were able to re-sentence him. They worked with a local DA, a new DA who was a black man in his area. They re-sentenced him, and he got off on time served. But he had received a life sentence for 2 dime bags. Now that was entrapment because he was already having a hard time. Yeah. He was a homeless man. He was living in a park at that time. He was stopped by 2 undercover cops. Yeah. When he went to a local dealer who happened to be white, he got 2 dime bags. He brought them back to those undercovers, sold it to him. The undercovers arrested him. They went to the white dealer where the weed came from. He had the marked money on him. Wow. He was not brought up on charges.
So he get no charge.
He got nothing. And instead, Fate, who had 2 non-violent minor drug charges in his past,
got a life sentence.
This was his 3rd strike, so he got a life sentence for, and he only made $5 off that $20 sale. He was going to use that for a meal.
Wow.
So that's what happened. Now, I work with Fate's daughter, Faith, and she's an amazingly resilient young woman. She's 22 years old. Her dad went to prison when she was 10. You know, she lost her dad for 12 years. And she only had him back for a couple months, and now he's gone forever. So that's another thing about Last Prisoner Project is we have a family support fund. And we feel really strongly that anybody, any kids, young adults who had their parent ripped from their life because of the criminalization of cannabis, they deserve our support. And so we raise funds, we have a grant system, we have other reentry resources for the family members of those who are incarcerated, as well as reentry resources to help people as they get out. So when Fate got out of prison, we helped him get back on his feet. And by the way, Fate went back to work 4 days after he was released. He called a landscaper that he used to work for, and he started working with him the Monday after he got out. So he was a very hardworking man who just had, his smile was so big. And you know, it's a shame that he was taken out like that, because he deserved his freedom. He deserved a long, happy, healthy life. And it's just such a tragedy. But the beautiful thing about this is what you're doing. You created Cannabis Freedom Day. This is a day that we will memorialize Fate and everybody else like him that deserves to be remembered. And we have to work together to make sure this doesn't happen anymore. Cannabis is practically legal. It's in 34 states now, and it just keeps going up all the time. So there's no reason that people should be left behind. And it's something we have to remind people in this country that when states go legal, it does not mean that people are automatically released. That's people assume that, and it's incorrect.
Well, I know it gives a lot of hope to a lot of families. And once you tell them where, if they want to make a donation to the program, where exactly they could go to.
Absolutely. So first of all, follow us on socials. Go to Last Prisoner Project on IG, Facebook, and Twitter. If you want to make a donation, go to our website, lastprisonerproject.org. If you have any prior cannabis charges, that means that you're eligible for our assistance. Go onto our website, go onto the release page. There is an application, a reentry resources application. You'll get a newsletter. We've got scholarships. If you want to enter the legal cannabis industry, we have scholarships to Oak Street University, Greenflower Media. We feel that we need to do all of our parts to lower the barriers to entry into the legal cannabis industry. We want to make sure that all of our people are set up for success with education, resources, grants, all of the above. So definitely, if you or anybody in your friend, your family has been hit by the criminalization of cannabis, reach out, send them to our website and have them apply.
And that's what we're talking about, people that's passionate, people that love, and it's not about a black or white thing, Asian or Latino. This is about everybody. This is about love. This is about us. We're stronger together. We're coming together to do something that we're not afraid to stand up for our people. And that's all of our people, no matter what color or creed. And this is about love. And when we talk about 520 Cannabis Day, and we love 420, but we know that 520 has a special meaning for us, for the people that we lost, the people that is incarcerated. And we're going to celebrate, bring awareness. And we starting right now to 520 next year to build one of the biggest festivals, to a countdown to how many people we get released, how many families we connect back together. I realized as a black man, just walking through that gate, you don't even know like what else they're gonna grab you for. So as you're walking through those doors, you like, am I good? And to be able to see some of the people that the last prison project was able to help get free is incredible, because I know walking through those doors, you always think, well, maybe they're going to take me up on something else. You just, in your mind, it's just, you always thinking that something wrong. And, you know, we have that guilt that we carry, and that's just because the system target us. And we're trying to change that through education. And I tell people all the time, people say, well, Pete, how you was able to change your life? It wasn't about money. Because I knew how to make a little money every now and then, but once I educated myself and I was able to better myself in my condition, because you don't know. And the stuff that you don't know, and they're not giving that to us as African Americans, Latinos, like we're not prepared. We're not prepared for freedom. We're not prepared for life. And they got to start with education. And that's what I love about this program. I want to be a part of educating.
I would love that. I will plug you in as much as you like. Yes. I feel like it's all about education and about awareness and support.
Yes.
And that's what I mean, because people need a support system. Yes. And that is what our last prison project, when I talk to Dante, when I talk to Corvain, they say it feels like they're in a family.
Yeah.
And that is our goal and our mission, is to help people. You know, we are a voice for the voiceless, and I feel like Cannabis Freedom Day and the festival that you're building, we will use that platform to be a voice for the voiceless, people that got left behind, people that are still locked up,
and people that are still good people.
Good
you look
people.
At Dante, you talk to them, you know that we all been through struggles and pains. Like for me, a lot of stuff that I've done in my childhood, in my past, I really just was trying to help my family. Like I really didn't want to, I'm just being honest. So I really didn't want to be there. I'm in this environment. So I wish I could have been born into a nice family and had a good life, but that wasn't for me. Yeah. So I had to make the best out of it. And I hold myself accountable for the people that I surrounded myself around back then. And that's what I was telling Dante, it was only till now that I'm able to see the big picture. Sometimes it takes you to grow as a man.
It's a process.
Yeah, and I also lost a lot of family members. When you look at the tragedies and losses that I lost, cousins, brothers, I'm talking about not to the prison system, just to death. And then to the prison system, when I go down, and friends and cousins and brothers and family members, not just uncles, aunties. So it's like women. I got women in my family that's incarcerated or have been incarcerated. And that's the cycle that I want to break with this generation, that we have to be willing to listen. And I know that was my problem. You think you know everything and you're not willing to listen. And that's what I think that we have to get the ones that are incarcerated. You know, we understand the system is already corrupt. But we have to be able to listen. Like Dante was able to understand, okay, well, this is how I'm going to get myself out of this situation. But he was educated enough to write his own and do everything that he needed to do.
He's an incredible human that was really able to help himself, and not everybody can do that.
And that's why I said education.
Yes.
And any prisoners that's watching this, like pick up them books, educate yourself. Like this guy Dante wasn't a lawyer. He started reading, and he understood the mistakes he made. He said, well, I was just reading the people that won. What about the ones that lost? When you start figuring that out, I could get closer to freedom. And I think that's what we want to educate this culture, the ones that's not incarcerated, to know that put yourself around good people. And don't look back. Cut bad people off from you. And this last prison project is about educating the ones that need to be educated, the voiceless, and us being able to stand up. And it's going to take, you know, I don't want this just to be me, but I want to celebrate other people that has a verse to say, let's be a part of this, because we stronger together. And this could happen to your dad or your brother or your son or your sister, auntie or uncle. So don't just look at it like this is not your problem. Like until it hits your household, you're gonna understand how real this really is.
Absolutely. I mean, Last Prison Project, we've got constituents all over the country, and they come from all walks of life. We work with veterans. We work with a lot of veterans who, you know, served their country, came home, have PTSD, used cannabis as their medicine, and they got busted for it.
Wow.
And that is just horrendous. There's no reason for that. So I want to thank you for being an ambassador of Last Prisoner Project, because I feel how passionate you are, and I know that we will do a lot of work together. And because you have a voice that people listen to, that education piece, you are key of all of that, of creating awareness with the public and with just everybody that needs to understand that there are people left behind that we have to work together to release.
And I know, I'm gonna tell you from firsthand, I understand. So my grandfather was in the military, served the country, and I used to have to go sneak and buy weed for him. It was for glaucoma, all these other different symptoms and sickness he was dealing with. So imagine getting caught trying to help a loved one. And now that this is legal, and that was the only reason I got into the cannabis business. Like, you know what, I have a lot of elderly people in my family that we used to have to sneak and go cob this for them. Like we said, I gotta get this for my people.
It helps me with quality of life.
Yes.
I mean, it is a medicine, and it's been a medicine for thousands of years. And the only reason it was made illegal in America were for racist reasons. So this goes really deep. And if you look at the history, I loved The Grass is Greener, the documentary that, I mean, Fab Five Freddy made. It's incredible because it goes into the history of why it became illegal in the first place, and it stretches back deep. So, you know, we just need to get things right again.
And y'all know Cannabis Freedom Day, we're coming all over America, then all over the world. Hopefully we're able to do a festival in Hawaii.
I would love that. Come to my neck of the woods. I would love to have a Cannabis Freedom Day on Maui. I'm in.
Yes. Well, thank you.
I know somebody. Okay.
Thank you.
So good working with you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.